life that I'd like to close.
An NBC News review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations. She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000 to catch a glimpse of her favorite celebrities.
You weren't scared to be all alone?
No, with having autism.
Okay. So she admits she has autism. Now, this is odd, chat. Tony Busby, the guy who's popping all this big shit at Jay-Z and Alex Spiro, you want to take on the mighty, mighty Rock Nation. You want to take on a billionaire Jay-Z who's about to make a move to be up 100 billion. You want to take this person on, and you're wrapping around the fate of your case and also your reputation around this victim that you have filed for. And this victim is sitting with NBC News talking without you right next to her? Whoa, flag on the play. Flag on the play. What's going on here? How the hell is... Yo, they should... by the way, here's the thing. Your victim filed a lawsuit, and you've been vigorously defending her right to stay as Jane Doe. Why Jane Doe? Jane Doe means don't identify her. But she waltzed into a fucking NBC News studio or wherever they did this interview and just says, just don't show my face, show my shadow and my hands. But they could hear my voice. Huh? I thought y'all said it was critical to keep her anonymous. Why is she there talking? Big red flags. Big red flags.
Is like feeling like you live your life in a shatterproof juggle ball. The world's on fire. The fire is inside the ball with you, but there's no way for you to get out.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury. The night of the 2000s VMAs, she says a friend drove her from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, a more than 5-hour drive. Her attorney provided NBC News with the name of the friend who has since died. The woman says she spoke to Combs's limo driver who offered her a ride to an...
Wow. Wait, let me go back. The woman just gave the name up?
A more than 5-hour drive. Her attorney provided NBC News with the name...
Oh, her attorney, which is Busby. Oh, so Busby set this up. So she should be well coached then. If her attorney's providing the name of who drove her, which, by the way, isn't listed in the lawsuit. Okay, let's keep hearing.
It's inside the ball with you, but there's no way for you to get out.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury. The night of the 2000s VMAs, she says a friend drove her from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, a more than 5-hour drive. Her attorney provided NBC News with the name of the friend who has since died. The woman says she spoke to Combs's limo driver who offered her a ride to an after party.
I stumbled upon Diddy's driver who told me that I was exactly what Diddy was looking for.
What did you think when he said that to you?
I thought it meant that I was just pretty.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji Madden and his brother.
Oh, wow. She's giving them names here. Benji Madden.
I thought it meant that I was just pretty.
Chat, I'm seeing what y'all are saying. An autistic girl asked a friend to drive her 5 hours away and leave her there. 5 hours away? You drive a 13-year-old who's autistic 5 hours away and you leave her there. Now, I want to be very clear because there's a lot of people who believe that I want or really care that or hope that Jay-Z's like guilty or whatever. No, I just like for the fair treatment of everybody. Don't come up with special rules in the media or nowhere else when it's Jay-Z versus somebody else. Keep it the same. Keep the same energy. Okay? And the same way how we're grilling this woman's story, we should grill everybody's story, because we are selective. When it's not Jay-Z, believe all women. Believe victim. You're victim shaming. But when it's Jay-Z, we get to pick this shit apart because it don't fucking make sense. Do you get what I'm saying? That's my point. So my whole thing is, I don't care when we hear some shit like that, and especially this is a public situation, we should grill it. Well, let's make this make sense. You're a legend, A, B, C, D, and E. Does this shit make sense? And the same grace or the same, let's look into it that we're doing for Jay, we should do it for everybody. Don't matter if we like him or not. Don't matter if they're a billionaire or not. Don't matter if they're broke or not.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo because, I have about his tattoo that's the Last Supper, because I have a religious background. So it was just something to talk about.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative of the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter took...
Another red flag. Shorty says she talked to somebody. The reason why she talked to the person is because he had a tattoo, and she was either familiar with the tattoo, familiar with the tattoo or whatever, because of she had a religious background, and maybe that tattoo was a symbol of that religious background. So maybe it was something to strike up a conversation. But the people she says she talked to wasn't there.
Time at the after party in VMAs, and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter took turns raping her while a female celebrity watched.
JC comes in and rapes me. He at that point I was fighting, trying to get away from him. And
now, let's go. Let me keep going.
he put his hand over my mouth and told me to stop it, cut the.
After the alleged rape, she says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, "I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind," he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said that she stands by her statements. "I have made some mistakes," she said. "Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me." The inconsistencies in her account of an incident alleged to have happened 24 years ago does not necessarily mean the allegations are false. The accuser's attorney, Tony Busby, said, "Because we have interrogated her intensely, she has even agreed to submit to a polygraph. This has been extremely distressing for her, to the point she has experienced seizures and had to seek medical treatment due to the stress." In a statement to NBC News, Sean Carter said, "This incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory."
Is any part of you scared coming out against such powerful people?
Yeah, I'm scared of what could happen, but I'm more afraid of letting it eat me alive from the inside out than I am of, being chastised by their fans.
All right, Chloe.
Nasty goddamn work, people. This is some retarded asshole, bro. Oh, my bad. I mean, I shouldn't say that word. I mean, come on, bro. Like, Tony Busby, gang. You gonna have to come better, bro. This is the type of person you shouldn't even want to put in front of the media. What the hell going on over there with you? This chick's slower than Franklin the Turtle. Stop playing. We ain't finna believe nothing she's saying. Stop playing. We not finna believe this shit. I'm sorry. This joint slower than Franklin the Turtle. You could tell missing a few screws. Ain't the brightest light bulb and ain't the sharpest knife. Stop playing with us. You ain't gonna insult her intelligence. No matter how much Illuminati Jay-Z is. We can't agree with the fake and the fraudery. This don't sound too good. And Tony Busby, you dead wrong. When she showed up to your goddamn office telling you this bullshit story and you heard her voice, you should have showed her back to whatever mental health facility she came from, nigga. The fuck are you doing? God don't like ugly, nigga. After you heard 15 seconds, come here, ma'am. Get back in your wheelchair. We're going to wheel you back to the goddamn. How the hell she get out? Yo, ask my secretary, how the hell she get out of the cycle? What the fuck? She having imaginary conversations with people that wasn't at the places? Get this joint back. Now, this is my personal thought. I believe of some of what Tony Busby was saying. This is the Accuser's story. I do believe Jay-Z's been. I think Jay-Z know who this is already. I think Jay-Z been doing what Jay-Z, a billionaire with 79 investigators, are doing. You know what that is? Figuring out who she is, calling up every friend, everything, and probably also hitting up people around her, and she's probably felt or gotten harassed by some investigator. Just like how Tony Busby said, yeah, Jay-Z got investigators calling about me. Yeah, that's what $1 billion does. The investigators gonna come investigating. You gotta investigate your lies or whatever you're saying, even if it's true. And I gotta imagine that this woman, this is my personal thought again, I think she opted for this because I can't believe that Tony Busby would have suggested this. Why would you suggest your client go on national TV without you sitting next to her, that you could interject when you think she's about to fuck up the entire case and throw it down the river? Why the hell would you not sit right next to her if you were agreeing to this? Why does it appear that, they followed up with you after to confirm or to corroborate certain things as it pertains to the lawsuit you filed? So it tells me this. I think Jay-Z's people, his network of connections, they're getting into the mix with everybody who might be saying some shit. That's getting those people uncomfortable. That's getting those people a little bit nervous because maybe some of them are capping. And let me try to bring it down a little bit before I say capping, because this is what they like to say in the woke world, and you'll hear like police or anybody say, they're like, oh well, the victim just doesn't remember. It's been so long. It's traumatic. They probably worked hard to block out that time in their life. Okay, cool. But I think that the victim, alleged victim, the person, let's just call her a plaintiff, I think she opted for this. I think she opted for this particular interview. I think Tony Busby, I don't think he had a choice, because there's no way him being a guy who I think is a smart guy too, could be trying to play chess with Rock Nation and Jay-Z with so much they have at stake and roll out an autistic, slow-talking country bumpkin who don't know what the hell or who the hell they talked to from however many years ago, which I guess 24 years ago, and half of their story just sounds like bull. Now, this is another thing I'm going to say, and we should say this to Tony Busby. And this is another thing, again, this is my angle too, but it goes for Diddy. Remember, I keep telling y'all, the only victim we could for real say with Diddy is Cassie. There ain't no other victim in that criminal indictment, but he got 30 charges, or 30, not charges, criminal lawsuits. Civil lawsuits. Tony Busby done filed like 16 or 17 of them. If Diddy wasn't wrapped up in legal drama right now, preparing for a fight for his life, I think Diddy would be doing the same thing. I told y'all, one of Diddy's investigators hit me up. They're like, yo, bro. Well, actually, they were doing the same thing. Won't get into it too much because there's another lawyer that was getting at him, and yeah. But Diddy would be exposing a lot of this shit. It's just too many, and he has a bigger case. So this is why, in public opinion, we're looking at it and say, damn, it's 30 lawsuits. Nigga, you fucking did it. There is a fucking world here, chat. No one will ever say that Diddy's not a violent nigga. He's not scum. He don't beat women. Maybe he did traffic Cassie. We're not saying that's not a possibility or maybe the truth. We're saying that if you've read the latter of these, like maybe the last 15 lawsuits against Diddy, it sounds like, I want to say 13 out of 15 never met him in life. However, it doesn't matter. It contributes to the narrative. Like people just report another lawsuit for Diddy. Another lawsuit. By the way, there's another one that says 3 dudes today claim Diddy did some shit. Anyway, you know what was important? I ain't gonna lie. Jay-Z's giving a masterclass. I gotta keep it a pig. He's giving a masterclass on how not to end up like Diddy. Because, again, when you allow one liar to flourish, 2, 3, 4, 5 liars come after. This is what Jay-Z put out. He says, today's investigative report, and by the way, here's the thing too. I wouldn't be surprised if Jay-Z and Rock Nation didn't help backdoor this victim, plaintiff, by having NBC like kind of reach out for like a sweetheart interview or like a softball interview for her, and then knowing that they were gonna, because they essentially interviewed the chick that's a victim and then wrote a whole thing and put the video out contextually saying, yeah, we did talk to her. She full of shit. You get what I'm saying? A lot of times these like news channels, especially liberal ones, they're mad like, yo, support victims. So even if the story sounds like cap, they'll help cap it up too. They'll be like, just to be fair, it is this incident did happen 24 years ago, and it's reasonable that her memory isn't. No, you know what they're pointing out? Like, you'd see the tint of that interview was, this bitch lying, bruh. Anyway, so this is what Jay said. Today's investigative report proves that this attorney, he puts that in quotations, Busby filed a false complaint against me in the pursuit of money and fame. This incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon. I ain't gonna lie, Jay-Z got hella threats. He's like coded like, this is like corporate nigga threat, huh? Then here's Alex Spiro. It's stunning that a lawyer would not only file such a serious complaint without vetting, but would make things worse by further peddling his false story in the press. We asked the court to dismiss this frivolous case today, and we'll take up the matter of an additional discipline for Mr. Busby and all the lawyers that filed the complaint. Holy. Not gonna lie, man. I see somebody, I guess they're not pro Jay-Z. They're like, did Jay read the article or just choose which words he planned to type in all caps? It said, okay. Busby says he's continued. Okay. So let's go through it.
Chloe Malas joining us now live. Chloe, we just heard a very strongly worded statement from Jay-Z. What else are you hearing from him and his team?
Yeah, so his attorney said that they're going to ask the court to, quote, dismiss this frivolous case. And also moments ago, we heard from Diddy's legal team, and I want to read you some of what they said. They said, quote, this is the beginning of the end of this shameful money grab. And remember, he remains behind bars at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, and his criminal trial begins in May.
All right. Very thorough reporting there.
Oh, wow. That is good reporting. So let's read the article. An Alabama woman who accuses Jay-Z and Diddy of R-word in her when she was 13 sat down with NBC News to recount what she calls a catastrophic event, a limo ride to a White House, a drink that made her feel woozy, a sexual assault by rap stars that would ruin her life. But the woman and her lawyers also acknowledged that there were some inconsistencies in her account in response to questions from NBC News. Again, if your client can't even stand up to questions from a news station, imagine Alex Spiro getting you on that stand. Oh, my sweet Jesus. He would have a field day. I have made some mistakes in recollections of that night, the woman, identified as Jane Doe in a lawsuit filed against Jay-Z and Diddy, told NBC. The woman says she stands by her allegations. Overall, the inconsistencies in her account of the incident alleged to have happened 24 years ago doesn't mean the allegations are false. Among the inconsistencies, the woman says her father picked her up after the alleged sexual assault, but he says he doesn't recall that. And by the way, I understand why you might want to say, yo, he could have said, I don't remember. Maybe I did. That makes him look like a piece of shit. Your father looks liable as well, right? What the fuck? You picked up your daughter who went to a party 5 hours away. By the way, here's another thing. I think the 5 hours away like contextualized everything. So you live 5 hours away. So someone drove you 5 hours away and you went to this, you went to New York to the VMAs and then you went to this party. So let's say even if it's 4 hours, because say the party was a little bit closer. So when you ran out with all your clothes in your hand and you were naked and you ran through the whole party and you ran down the street and you went to the gas station, you stayed at the gas station for 4 hours till your daddy came and got you, 4 or 5 hours. Really? Also, if anybody had to drive 5 hours to go pick up a relative, even if it's 20 years ago, I think you'd remember that shit. If you ever had to drive more than an hour to go pick up somebody in distress, I think you'd probably remember that shit. But I think that the father's probably just telling the truth. You know why? He looks like a piece of shit. You let your daughter do all that? You really let your daughter sneak out the house? You let your daughter get put in harm's way and you ain't do nothing about it? You ain't bring her to the hospital? You ain't gonna slide, nigga? Lil Durk would be ashamed. He's a slide king right now. Anyway. But he says he doesn't recall that. The woman also claims she spoke to a celebrity at the after party where she said this, she was sexually assaulted. But the celebrity says he was not in New York at the time. And images from that evening showed Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and Sean Diddy Combs at a different location than the one the woman described, although their whereabouts for the entire evening are unclear. The incident didn't happen, Carter told NBC News in a statement on Friday, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. He added, referring to the woman's attorney, Tony Busby, true justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800-LAWYER doesn't realize it yet, but soon. Busby claims or says he's trying to continue to vet her claims. Well, why file a lawsuit if you're continuing to vet her claims? So Jane Doe case was referred to us by another firm. It was referred to our firm by another who vetted it prior to sending it to us. He told NBC News in an email. Tony Busby, brother, listen, I feel like I'm neutral and fair and I'm a neutral arbiter in all this. I don't give a fuck. Before you sent a demand letter, which as you said is not extortion, but you're literally demanding for, I know you said you didn't put a dollar amount, but you demanded a mediation. And in that mediation, you're probably expected to have or result in you getting some monetary compensation for damages that you guys could just squash a case before filing it. If that was one of the last steps before filing it, why didn't you just do the vetting back then? That's kind of odd. Why are these attorneys just filing frivolous lawsuits without doing full investigations? Our client remains fiercely adamant that what she has stated is true. To the best of her memory, we will continue to vet her claims and collect corroborating data to the extent it exists because we have interrogated her intensely. She's even agreed to submit to a polygraph. I've never had a client suggest that before. What? Yo, Tony Busby, you're moving like a fucking rookie right now, gang. You're moving like a rookie. What? In any event, we always do our best to vet each claim made, just like we did in this case. If she told NBC News in a quick interview, oh, okay, so they probably said, so when you got to the party, what happened? Oh, well, I saw the celebrity and me and them talked. If she told NBC News that, she had to tell you that. It's your job to go Google, go hit that team up. Hey, were you at a party? Find some way to find out. The person that she's claiming she talked to when she first went to the party, like she had some random conversation with, that she recollects, because remember, she don't remember too much. You don't even go to fucking check that that person was actually there? What? Now, they dismiss the fact that they didn't vet the case by now just harping on the victim's stance. This has been extremely distressing to her, to the point she has experienced seizures and had to seek medical treatment due to stress. What? The allegations against Carter suggest a seismic shift, potentially linking the rap legend to the alleged behavior laid out in the civil and criminal cases against Combs, who is in a Brooklyn jail awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. Carter's attorney, Alex Spiro, says his studying lawyer would not only file such serious complaint without proper vetting, but to make things worse, a further peddling this false story in the press. We're asking the court to dismiss this frivolous case today. And we'll take up a matter of additional discipline for Mr. Busby and all the lawyers that filed the complaint. She said she was talking to Fred Durst and Benji Madden. I was upset, and the person at the gas station could tell I was upset. And she let me use the phone. I called my dad because he's the only one I trust at the time. I told him I messed up and I needed a ride home. We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was. She now has 2 children, a son and a daughter. She served less than a year in the Army National Guard, left with the rank of private. How did she leave? She got her high school diploma and got her Christian counseling certificate that she could help people who gone through what she went through. She says she applied for a behavior analysis certification that she could help people with autism, which she says she has. There's so little resources to moms that have proper amount of income. According to their address at the time, her father would have driven up more than 5 hours to pick her up. I feel I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something I would definitely stick out in my mind. The woman's father, who said he learned of the alleged assault this week, added that he did remember once picking her up in the middle of the night, but he did say that was a local drive. Asked about her father's account in a follow-up interview on Friday, the woman says she stood by her claim that he had picked her up and that it's possible that he had misremembered. There's a lot of things in the stuff that we argue about constantly. Something he said or did back in New York around that time period, he just doesn't remember. It actually caused a lot of fights sometimes in the household. Regarding her father's recollection, Busby told NBC News, "We agree. He states he doesn't remember. His daughter explains he was in no state to remember during that point in time due to personal issues he was having then. We're talking about a time frame more than 20 years ago." The woman also told NBC News that she spoke with musician Benji Madden at an after party, but a representative for Madden confirmed that neither Benji nor his brother Joel attended the 2000 VMA, and they were on tour in the Midwest at the time. Honestly, what's the clearest is what happened to me and the route I took to what happened to me. Not all the faces there are as clear, so I've made some mistakes. I may have made a mistake in identifying. Well, you're a white girl. You might have made a mistake in thinking that you were fucking Diddy and Jay-Z, and you might have been fucking, I don't know, two other random niggas. The woman couldn't provide any further information about the after party she attended. Professional images reviewed by NBC News show Carter and Combs were among the celebrities who attended the VMA's after party at the Lotus nightclub in New York City. It is not clear what time those images were taken, or if Combs and Carter attended any other after parties. The building that housed Lotus, now closed, does not match the description of the house the woman described in the lawsuit and interview. So I don't know exactly where we're going or how long it took. She added that she had guessed about the length of time the trip had taken in the lawsuit. Busby says we have attempted to confirm the correct location, but we have never suggested a location with the Lotus Club. Our client has been very specific and detailed about the description of our venue she said she was taken to, and she never stated it was the Lotus Club. He added, we won't speculate on whether there was an after party. You know, after the show is the after party, and after the party is the hotel lobby, right? Okay, because she doesn't know that. Also, among the woman's allegations that couldn't be corroborated is how she made it to New York City that night. One of her attorneys provided NBC News with the name and birth date of her friend she said drove her, who would have been 20 at the time. The person appears to have since died. NBC News attempts to reach the person's relatives were unsuccessful. Great reporting. Yeah. Chat, signs are leading to this being cap. Signs are leading to this being cap. However, I don't think this is going to end the legal jostling between Rock Nation and Tony Busby. But if you have to ask me, obviously an allegation is not a good thing. But Jay-Z right now has the upper hand. Now, Tony Busby also claimed that he had two lawsuits. He had two victims, actually, that were alleging sexual misconduct with supposedly the client of this New York lawyer that we now know is Alex Spiro. His client is Jay-Z. So we're thinking there's two people, one being that woman that was 13 that's talking in this interview anonymously, right? And there's another person. Well, if Tony Busby is bold, we'll see if he files the lawsuit. File the second one. Because right now, Jay is giving you a spanking, my boy. Now, has he said anything else? He's been usually quick to the trigger and tweeting. Nope. He has not said anything yet. Not on Twitter. And then let's go to Instagram. Nothing there yet. Let's go to a story. Yeah, my boy's on vacation, man. My boy's on vacation. He done finessed so many people allegedly. Got all them payouts from the demand letters. He's like, man, I'm on vacation right now, gang. I'm cooling. All right. We'll see, man. We will see. All right. Perfect. I guess this would be a good time to play another interview. So there's another interview where there is Diddy's sexual victim, allegedly, who also did an interview. So all of these people who all want to remain anonymous, but they're making claims against these high-profile guys, and they're saying they got their butt took, they got their pussy took, They were forced to do A, B, C, and D. They don't want their name to be seen, but they're down to walk into NBC News, get on camera, they just tell them, just blur me out. And now CNN News. And this is supposedly one of Diddy's accusers. Let's listen to this and react.
According to your lawsuit, you were hired by a security firm to work security at one of the infamous white parties that was thrown by Sean Combs in the Hamptons. What was that experience like?
At first, he was incredibly friendly, very gracious.
So you had a friendly chat, and then, according to your lawsuit, at some point later in the night, Sean Combs himself offered you a drink. This didn't come from staff.
Now, I also want to point out here, chat. It's very important that I point this out. I want to put this in context. So this 13-year-old girl, well, obviously she was a child back then, right? But these people, we haven't seen that they've gone to the police, so they won't go to the police, but they'll go to a lawyer to get them money. And by the way, I got to figure out which John Doe this is. Actually, Tony Busby's also representing this guy. Remember, the majority of the John Does are represented by Tony Busby. The majority of them. The majority of the John Does are represented by Tony Busby for Diddy. So it looked like Tony Busby might have had a PR strategy. And you got to remember, for what he does is he ain't trying to go to trial with all these cases. He wants niggas to pay up. So I'm guessing he has almost like a plan. All right, on this week, we're going to get some of our John Does to do anonymous interviews. Because now we got to make it really hit. Let's let people hear them. And also in this interview, we don't see Tony Busby sitting next to him. Right? So Tony Busby ain't... So again, Tony Busby filed 15 lawsuits against Diddy. All of them are John Does. John Does and Jane Does. But this is the second one, and I think this is Tony Busby's one. I don't know. I could tell if it's anything filed in the last 2 months, it would be Tony Busby. Most likely. And again, a victim that ain't go to the cops, don't want their face known, don't want their name known, is doing a video interview, but they're just saying, blur my face out. They don't want to be known, but they want to be heard. And it's not only heard in court. They don't want to be heard by a law enforcement officer. They want to be heard in civil court where they can only get damages in terms of monetary compensation. And then they want to be heard in a CNN interview? Okay.
Staff or someone holding a tray of drinks that came from him directly.
Correct. The first drink started to have some effect on me. And I just thought, wow, these are really strong drinks. It wasn't until the second drink, and it was already too late, that I realized that there was something wrong with the drinks. Sadly, Sean Combs was waiting in the wings. He was watching from some sort of vantage point. And once I was in a helpless position and he was sure that...
See, he's well coached, I could tell. Sadly, he's watching from a vantage point. When I'm in some helpless position, he swoops in. You see, if no disrespect to his journalist, but if she's on her shit like the girl from NBC News, debunks all that. So you said you're on the second drink, but how do you know his position? How do you know where he's at? Are you assuming that he's in some position watching you? And then when you say you're in some helpless position, what does that mean? Like, have us, I know this is traumatizing, but help us visualize, how do you think he surmised that you were at the state where he should or could take advantage of you? You got to follow up questions with these motherfuckers. You get what I'm saying? Because this is kind of coming off like these motherfuckers coached.
He was in a position of power. Then he took advantage of the situation.
See? All of this sounds like what you would write in a lawsuit. Not somebody's talking like, yo, bro. Like, you know how people talk. They don't talk like, this sounds like a lawsuit, bro.
You allege that you were forcibly pushed into an SUV by Sean Combs. That act alone, according to your lawsuit, left you in considerable pain. And then once inside the vehicle.
Shorty, that NBC interviewer is putting you to shame. Let me ask the questions you need to ask. Bruv, how are you the goddamn bodyguard? You were hired as private security. How is the security getting manhandled by the client? So you're telling me how the hell could you secure him if he pushing you around and he bitching you? How could he? Now he might be like, oh no, I was like drunk. I was like, okay, well, all right, let's bring it back a little bit. Well, you're security. Why are you taking drinks while you're doing your job as security? Have you ever done that before? Have you ever worked for Sean Combs before? Is that common? Do you just drink it up while you're working security? What's going on? You got to ask these questions now, chat. Like, we got to see what's going on. Because these motherfuckers is coming with some shit that, like, so you're just saying he just took your booty and if Diddy could take your booty, how the hell was you supposed to protect Diddy from somebody taking his life? If you couldn't stop Diddy from taking your booty, how the fuck you supposed to stop somebody from kicking Diddy's ass? How the hell does that work?
Your lawsuit says plaintiff was held down by Combs, who overpowered him while he...
How the fuck you security and get held down by your client? How does that work? Nigga, it's a reason why most security just take a lot of steroids. They at least got to look buff. Got at least, even if they can't fight a lick, they got to at least look a little bit like this.
He struggled to escape due to the effects of the drugs in his system. And...
Yo, they told my Diddy like he's Dexter. Oh yeah, the drugs, it just had me just like laying there. I just couldn't move. Now, I'm going to keep it being. And by the way, it appears that as time goes by, now we're not talking about a criminal case, we're talking about these civil cases. We're going to be able to start saying, like, start having some common sense and start saying some real shit. Because before we had to act in shock, like, oh my God, another 5. He's a monster. He's a creep. Now, he might be a monster to creep for the Cassie shit and maybe some other shit. But, like, it's too much fluff. Bruv, just think about the shit we hearing. All of y'all said Diddy's finishing move is giving y'all 2 cups of Ciroc with some GHB in it. I'm also starting to think, y'all, a lot of y'all keep saying y'all are in parties where there's mad other people. How come if everybody's drinking the drugged up shit, only you and every victim, quote unquote, got the same story. Oh, 2 cups. I was knocked out. How come everybody drinking 15 cups, but only you get so they must have had a special elixir for you. But even one person said they're in the party, and the waitress had these little fancy party with the white gloves, walking around with a bunch of drinks, and they offer you something. So why don't the effects happen to other people? How come everybody's standing but you? Whatever.
It goes on to say that he sodomized you.
I was screaming. I was telling him to stop.
Stop it, my nigga. Yeah, see, this is why I gotta do this interview. Yo, bruv. Put it like this, man. You a security. You're Diddy. You're securing a Diddy event. My nigga. No homo, nothing like that, but, bruh, I gotta ask you this question. You ever got fucked in your ass, nigga? Because if you've never got fucked in your ass, it ain't no way that a nigga could overpower you and you're supposedly stronger than him. Could do all that shit to you and slide his dick inside your booty hole, nigga. How the... Nigga, what type of... Come on, bruv. Now, if he said, nah, I've gotten fucked in my ass a couple times, so, my shit loose back there. But like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. It makes a little more sense. But I just can't see this grown-ass man who's supposed to be security This is sounding crazy. I'm sorry. I know it sounds vivid and pause, extra pause. You know what I mean? No flexibility, but we gotta wait. Your shit don't make no sense.
It was incredibly painful.
Duh.
And he was acting like it was nothing.
I ain't gonna lie, I'd be asking some crazy questions if I'm in this interview. Nigga, did you queef? Did you queef on his dick? I would ask all type of shit, chat. I ain't gonna lie to you. You gotta say certain shit to get them off their pivot, man. Nigga in here repeating some shit that he put in the lawsuit. I'm gonna ask some bullshit. I'm asking bullshit in this goddamn interview. We gotta get to the facts.
And he seemed to be disconnected from it. It was abusive beyond belief.
Man, it was probably some shit like this, chat. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. You seen this? Right here.
Oh, Mary.
Keep it going.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, buddy.
Hold on. Wait. What the liner? I think he fucked the joint in the ass, and then he said, "Yo, you ain't gonna be shit. You ain't gonna be able to shit right for a week." All right, I don't know if I can play that. Y'all ever watch Bad Santa? Shit crazy out here, chat. Edit out that part. Edit out that part.
He may be even more famous.
Fuck.
According to your law.
Here we go.
Acting like it was nothing. And he seemed to be disconnected from it. It was abusive beyond belief.
Abusive beyond belief. Rexford Combs didn't comment, but at the time of the original complaint, released a blanket statement regarding the complaint and others filed at the same time. Combs and his legal team had full confidence that the facts in their legal defenses and the integrity of the judicial processes. Basically saying it's cap, but we got other shit to deal with, which is a criminal case. Okay. In court, the truth will prevail. Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted.
All right, CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister, who's been doing really amazing reporting on this subject, is here with your exclusive. What was it like to sit down with this man?
You know, John, this was the first time that he has told anyone other than his attorneys this story. He, as you see, we concealed his identity. He filed his lawsuit back in October as a John Doe. He says that he wants to keep his anonymity because he wants to keep some semblance of his life private. But that's a difficult thing to do, to sit down and tell your story to a stranger as a journalist. So I asked him, why now? Why are you coming forward now? And he said that he did not know that there were other accusers of Sean Combs out there. He only found out from seeing news reports. And there was one report he saw that there is somebody who alleges that they were 9 years old when they say that they were abused by Sean Combs. And this John Doe that I sat down with, he said, if a 9-year-old could do it, then I could do it. And it made him feel like he wished that he spoke out before because he could have prevented children from allegedly being abused. Now, as I said, this lawsuit was initially filed back in October of this year. So these claims are not new, but this is the first time that he sat down. In fact, John, this is the first time that any accuser of Sean Combs has sat down with the media for an interview. Now, I want to play you a bit more of what he told me about these allegations, what he says happened that night in 2007. But I do want to warn our viewers that what he says is graphic and disturbing.
I was screaming. I was telling him to stop. It was incredibly painful. And he was acting like it was nothing. And he seemed to be disconnected from it. It was abusive beyond belief.
Now, he says that not a day has gone by where he hasn't thought about this. He said that when something like this happens to you, which is, of course, his allegation that he was drugged and sodomized by Sean Combs back in 2007, he says that it impacts every part of your life. He says that he has not been able to carry on with relationships. He says that he did not tell his wife at the time, who he was married to when this allegedly happened to him. He hasn't told family members or coworkers. And again, that is one of the big reasons why he wants to remain anonymous.
Incredible to hear him tell this story. All right, Elizabeth Wagmeister, thank you very much. Sarah.
All right, joining us now, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson to discuss more about this. All right, first of all, this is a civil lawsuit. Yes. It is not part of the criminal prosecution, but in hearing this, and now that he is coming out to speak, could it be?
So we'll see. There's a lot that has to be unpacked, right? The first thing is remember, Sarah, that this was an amended complaint. Why do I say that, and why is that significant? It's significant because initially when it was filed in October, there was the indication that it happened in 2007, right? Learning, however, that P. Diddy was in St. Tropez then, so it could not have happened then. So it was amended to include, right, the year after, okay? That's a problem. There was also the indication initially that, right, he wasn't married, and now we're learning he is. Why do I say that? Because every case turns on its facts. So if you're going to determine, right, civil, it's a civil case, it involves monetary damages, not criminal, you're going to assess the credibility of it. Now, attorneys for, of course, P. Diddy are going to have a field day with that, of course, because when you sit down with your lawyer, you verify. Your lawyer doesn't say, oh, that's what happened, okay. You verify it, you vet it, you ensure that it's factually accurate. And so, therefore, I think those two distinctions are going to be very important. Would you have not known that you were married at this time? Would you have not known? Should you have shared it with your spouse? Potentially not. It's embarrassing, but did you know you were married at all? Did you know where you were, when you were, etc.? So it's a question of fact, and I think it'll be vetted certainly by criminal investigators to determine whether or not it's useful, and then it'll be up to the judge to determine whether it is admissible.
I am curious about something. He told our Elizabeth Wagmeister there that he'd not told anyone about this until he spoke, I think, to his attorneys. How difficult will it be to prove this?
So what ends up happening is that, you know, there's a lot of embarrassment and a lot of...
So nobody ever heard about this until it was time for him to get money.
So, Jay-Z has been accused of R-wording a 13-year-old. I'd be lying if I said I'm not surprised that news like this was coming out, bro. From listening to what X said, I agree this is a money grab. But I also do agree that if you really, really, really search deeper into Jay-Z, you will see he was definitely with underage women, not even with him above the age of 18, but with him above the age of 21, like 24, 25. Jay-Z is old, man. It's like, hey, when you're in the game that long and you have that much money, you literally, he could have picked any girl he wants, but hey, it's crazy how men in power, they just have a thing for young women, like young girls. You can't even wait for it to be 18, bro. Like, damn. But Jay-Z, Diddy, it's a crazy world we live in. Just gotta wait and see what comes out next. Who knows? And if this gets paid off quick, we will know what is up. It's deeper than we think. It's a lose-lose situation if it's true. But if it's fake, I feel like people who file fake lawsuits, they need like, yeah, like something back filed on them. But just gotta wait and see how everything goes. Your boy Big Act News. Make you like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.